Hi guys, in this video we're going to talk about the A swing. This is a very popular swing out there right now. David Ledbetter is kind of the inventor or the instructor with the A swing. And it's a little bit of a different type swing out there. And I want to kind of go over it. There are advantages and disadvantages to any type of swing methodology that we're talking about, whether we're doing, stack and tilt, the TopSpeedGolf system, the A swing, whatever you're talking about. And I like to give things a fair shake. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, that's a, you hear people say, oh, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Well, there's advantages to everything. There's a reason that somebody comes up with these types of methodologies, but I think it's real important to be clear and to kind of understand what those are as we start to hear those, so we don't get lured into things thinking that there's going to be kind of a magic type of a move and get away from developing good solid fundamentals. So with our TopSpeedGolf system, it's based on the 5 moves that basically every good professional golfer does to get power and consistency, and we go over those. A-type swing, I'll go over what it is here in a second, but really they don't market it this way, it's not talked about this way, but really what it is it's to combat an over-the-top swing, is to get players to shallow out the club and to start coming more from the inside. I like certain parts of it, but I really don't like other parts of it because I think it could lead to some pretty bad habits and some inconsistency. So let me go over this. For those of you who aren't familiar with the A swing, what this says is basically we're going to take the club up. It's going to almost move in a straight line. So if you can imagine a Ferris wheel kind of moving up to the top of the swing, that club is going to stay outside my hands in the takeaway. As I get to the top of the swing, the club is going to be pointing to the right slightly, and then as I start down, then the club's going to start to shallow out. Now, let me explain what happens to the club in momentum in any swing. So if I can imagine, let's imagine that my club is pointed this direction, and I'm going to pull on this club shaft kind of parallel to my target line here. So this club head is out on this side of my club, my hands, and then as I pull, you're going to see that that club starts to kick in this way. If I did the opposite of that, then my club would kick out that way. If I was on plane, then my club would basically just kick on straight. So that's what's happening at the top of the swing with an A swing. So we're taking the hands back inside the club head. The club head is outside the hands at the top. And I may not be demonstrating this perfectly. I don't use exactly the details of the A swing. It's not something that I do myself. But I'm basically taking this club outside. And then when I start to pull the hands down, the momentum of this club wants to kick in and shallow out. That's naturally going to happen. If I keep my hands soft, that club is naturally going to shallow out more to the inside. So the players that tend to do better with this are players that have been coming kind of inside and looping it over the top, have the big over the top swing. Well, if they start to feel like they do this and shallow it out, that's the exact opposite of what they usually do. So instead of taking it back inside, they're now taking it back more outside. Instead of going over the top, now the club is starting to shallow out in the downswing. So for a lot of players, as they first start to do this, they maybe feel pretty good. They're getting a little bit more to the inside for the first time in their life as the club is shallowing out. But what happens with anything that gets this kind of extreme, in my opinion, is that eventually we start to overdo it. So we get away from that inside takeaway, we start over dropping this club in, and now all of a sudden we're coming well inside out to the right. For those of you who are trying the A swing, you may find yourself all of a sudden hitting a lot of shanks as my club gets too far to the inside and now my hosel is working the club. We may find a lot of blocks to the right for professional players, good players that are doing this, as my club drops so much to the inside, flattens out so much that now I'm swinging out to the right and I'm blocking it. So that's a pretty typical thing that happens. So there are advantages to it. Players that tend to go inside and over the top, this is basically a swing that's the exact opposite of that, and it could have a short-term advantage to getting the club more inside. But as we start to overdo this a little bit, we can start to get stuck to the inside, block shots out to the right, and it's very easy to fall into that type of pattern. What I recommend is basically what's called pretty much a parallel playing. So as you're coming to the top of the swing, if you can imagine drawing a line from the hosel of my club up through my elbow, as I go to the top, my club's basically going to be parallel to that. As I start down, my club will drop very, very slightly to the inside of that. Maybe if this is parallel to it, I can't see that, obviously I can't see the line here, but if this is parallel, I'm going to be just an inch or two inside of that red line, and then it's going to help it to kind of kick out and release with momentum. So we are still using that momentum to release the club. We're still using that momentum to allow the club face to turn on over and release, but we're not getting to these extremes where we're way out here and then way in and kind of moving around a lot. So parallel plane or something similar to that is what I particularly think is the most repeatable. I do think it's okay also to get a little bit more vertical or a little bit flatter. It's not going to be the end of the world if we get a little bit one way or another. If you're a two-plane swinger or a one-plane swinger, any of those kinds of things, they will work as long as we're doing the 5 pieces like we talk about in the TopSpeedGolf system, which is staying nice and stable, good powerful turn, lagging that club to get the speed, and then releasing that lag. If you do those 5 things, really any of these types of things will work, but I don't particularly think it's going to be to your best interest to go to the big extremes and chase kind of the latest, greatest thing out there. So that's my soapbox, that's my 2 cents. I know you guys can play great no matter which swing plane you're on. If you're doing the 5 things that you need to do correctly, you're going to be able to play great with any of them. So good luck, work hard. I'll see you guys soon. Hi guys, I hope y'all really enjoyed this video. If you did, I got a great bonus for you. I'm going to play a preview from one of my #1 lag videos. Are you struggling to get a lot of lag in the downswing? We know how important that is. We got to get lag, we got to release that lag to really let that club whip through contact. I'm going to play a preview from one of the best lag drills out there that I have. I'm going to show you how players like Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, Adam Scott all use this in their own swing. It's going to help you to hit it a lot farther, pick up some great speed. If you want to watch that video, go ahead and click the link that pops up on your screen. If you're on a mobile device, a phone, a tablet, go ahead and click the iCard, which is going to allow you to get instant access to that. If you guys have any questions, post them in the comments below. Click that thumbs up button, that really helps us out. And be sure to subscribe, that way you'll see our latest videos. Good luck, and I'll see you in the lag video. Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm Ballard, and in today's video, we're going to talk about one of the absolute worst drills for creating lag. It's a very common drill that I see. And in this drill, what we're going to do is we're going to set the wrist very early to create an angle of lag, and then we're going to try to hold this throughout the swing. It's one of the worst things that you can do to build lag. I'm going to talk about the science behind why this is the case, and I'm also going to give you a great drill to help you improve your lag, all in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. If I do it this way versus holding that position, exact same thing happens when we're building the lag in the golf swing. So what we want to do is throughout the swing, I want to have a very low and wide takeaway. So I'm not going to set my wrist early at all. If you look at a lot of the top players, you look at Adam Scott, very wide takeaway, not very much wrist set at all. You look at Rory McIlroy, you look at Tiger Woods. All these players are using a wide takeaway and not getting very much wrist set, so that later in the swing, as we start down, we can increase this wrist set, and we're really only going to max out this angle of lag for a split second in the downswing. Okay, so a 3-step drill here. Now, as we get started with this, I want to remind you that the fulcrum in this golf club for getting a massive amount of lag is right at the end of the golf club. This is where I want my hinge point to be. I want to use the full length of this club to build.